The first thing that happened after Prem told me that I had prostate cancer, and the way he said it was quite interesting because I'd had a biopsy, of course, and he called me in for the results and he said, well, I found what I was looking for. You've got quite a large and pretty aggressive cancer. And my wife and I were quite shocked because neither of us knew very much about it. And I said, well, how do we find out about it? And he gave me a copy of his book. And we read it from cover to cover. My wife probably even more so than I did because she read it first. And I have to admit, I was a bit reluctant. I wasn't sure that I really wanted to know about this. And a lot of men since then have told me that if they've got it, they don't want to know. So I was a bit reluctant to read it, but Gail read it and she said, you have to read this because this is your roadmap to getting through all this. And the book told me everything I needed to know about why the cancer had occurred, what its effects were, how it could be treated, what the likely side effects were and what the likely after effects were. And that book has been passed to so many other men who are friends of mine since the day we read it, that it's probably helped 30 or 40 men to understand what their problem is. The difficulty is there's not a great deal of literature about it. I mean, prostate cancer isn't a widely understood disease, and yet it's at the moment the second biggest killer of Australian men after non-melanoma skin cancer. And yet men don't know anything about it because there has been so little literature, so little information available. But now there is, and people reading a book like that, I believe the most important thing is that in my book, knowledge is power. And if you have the knowledge to understand what the cancer is about, which the book gave me, then you have the power to deal with the cancer itself. I suppose, to sum up the whole thing on prostate cancer, it's not a popular cancer. That might sound a funny thing to say, but it's not. Because prostate cancer is not a glamour disease. You'll never see it reported among glamorous young starlets or little kids. They don't get it. Only men of a certain age get it. And for that reason, and because men are reluctant to talk about it, it's hidden. Well, it's time it came out from under the covers and people understood not only that it's there, but that it can be treated. And that was the thing, the central thing that Prem's book told me.